What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Rick Knows Hoops. I'm your host, Tyreek, and I think it's time for Bradley Beal to want out. I I know he keeps saying like he wants to be loyal and stuff, but they're just wasting his talent there in DC, man. It's getting to the point where it's hard to watch. Like I feel really bad for him, honestly. They're 3-10 on the season. They just got blown out by the Rockets. John Wall had a pretty good game against them. He had like 21 points. I guess a little bit of a revenge game for him. I'm going to get to Houston, but I really want to lock in on the Wizards and mainly Bradley Beal. Put up another 30-point game, which, I mean, he's the leading scorer in the league this season per game-wise. I think he's averaging about 34 points per game. He had 33 tonight. Didn't shoot it great. Like he shot a little under 50%. Not amazing, but still another big game for him. But this team is it's so poorly constructed. And, losing Thomas Bryant was a big loss for them, especially on the offensive end. Even though he doesn't really bring much defensively, but offensively speaking, that was a big-time loss for them. Now they got Robin Lopez playing like 30 minutes a game. And, I mean, even though he's a little bit better defensively, he's just really not an impactful player anymore, really honestly. And then Russell Westbrook, he has not been good this season, like at all. And that's after, I was a fan, like I was saying last season was probably his best year in the league, in my opinion, just because he stopped taking the three ball and he just was playing mid-range in. And obviously that's, the benefactor of Houston going super small ball, trading away Clint Capella last year. But, that really elevated, I think, his play and his efficiency to another level. This season's been a complete 180. Like, he just has not been good this season, only averaging like 18 a game. And, like, even with Russ, like, he's going to get his, like, 20 points per game. He hasn't been doing that this season so far. He's been shooting the ball really poor. I'm not 100% sure, like, what his field goal percentage is, but I seen a stat on Twitter, and it said, like, he has 163 points this season on 163 shots. Like, that just tells you, like, it's not been a good year for him at all. It's been a really difficult season for him and just for the team overall. Like, the Wizards just have not been, I think, as good as anybody thought that they were going to be this season. I definitely expected them to be at least in the mix for the playoffs. Like, I didn't really expect them to be like, top 4 team or anything, but probably like 6, 7, 8 in that range. Just because you had, Bradley Beal, obviously a, star player in the league. And I still thought Russell Westbrook would still be like, not an all-NBA level, but I still thought he would be, very impactful. And his impact just hasn't been there. But it's not just on him. I'm not going to turn this into like a Russell Westbrook slander session. It's really just the whole team. I think Scott Brooks, his time's up there. I think his time's up. And also just the construction of the rosters is not really good. Their rookie, Danny Adias, pretty much just turned into a spot-up shooter when his big thing coming into the draft was he's a good playmaker off the wing. And now he's just turned into a spot-up shooter, which he was never, a good three-point shooter like pre-draft-wise and stuff. So I think Bradley Beal needs to take a page out of James Harden's book and just walk into the front office or to the media, I don't know, however he wants to do it, and just say, like, it's time for me to get out. Because they're honestly just wasting his talent. One of the top shooting guards in the league. I think he's number 2 behind James Harden. And you just hate to see that talent just, waste away with a team that doesn't look like they're going anywhere anytime soon. It kind of makes you think, like, if the John Wall trade was necessary, like if getting rid of John Wall was even a necessary move, and especially because I think they gave up a draft pick to do so, to get Russell Westbrook. Like, I don't know if that was, the best thing for them. I'll go over to the Houston Rockets, though. I think they were just a really fun team, like, to look at. John Wall had a really good game tonight. Not really good, but he played good against his former team. I think he was like 7 for 19 or something like that. So he wasn't great. But, 21 points against your old team, that's a pretty promising night. He actually had 24. So, that's pretty good night. Led his team in scoring. And then Boogie Cousins has been playing really good lately. He just had a game the other night. I think Saturday night he had like 28 and 17. That's like, them is numbers that he was putting up, a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, before the injuries obviously started piling on. He had another good one tonight. It's like 19 and 11. That's a pretty good game for Boogie. Also 5 steals. Like, it's a pretty good game. But, Houston is a fun team. Christian Wood's out right now. And he's just been one of the most, good stories to watch in the league this season. Definitely like most improved player candidate. But, happy for John Wall getting a little bit of revenge. And hopefully Bradley Beal demands a trade sometime soon. Next, I want to talk about the Utah Jazz. I don't think I've touched on them at all this season. Mainly because I haven't watched a lot of Jazz basketball. But, quietly, I believe they're like at the top of the Western Conference. Maybe a little bit behind the Lakers because the Lakers have been really good. But, they're 13-4 right now. They just got to win tonight against the Knicks in a game where Austin Rivers turned into 2010 hoop mixtape Austin Rivers. He had like 25 points in the first half, 10 for 10 from the field, 5 for 5 from 3. Like he was looking like it was 2010, 2011 again. But yeah, Utah's a half game behind the Lakers, and this was kind of one of those ugly wins that a team like Utah's kind of built to win these kind of games. Like a game where your leading scorer is Royce O'Neal, who had 20. Shout out to Royce O'Neal. Donovan Mitchell shot, I believe, 3 for 15. And Bojan Bogdanovic, he shot 2 for 10. Like, that's your 2 best scorers in your starting lineup. Not really having good games at all. And even Jordan Clarkson wasn't good. He was 5 for 16. Shout out to Jordan Clarkson. That's a 6 man of the year candidate, maybe a front runner in many people's opinions. But this is one of those wins that one of those ugly wins that they were able to pull out. Rudy Gobert had a big game, 18 points, 19 boards. And the Knicks aren't a bad team. Like, this isn't like the same Knicks from last year or the year before. The Knicks are actually like very competitive team. I think they're 8-10 now. So still a very competitive team. But yeah, I think Utah, like, this might be a different Jazz team, like, compared to last year. I mean, even though they were good last year, obviously, but Mike Conley was so bad last season. Like, he was just a bad NBA player last year. And from what I've seen and been keeping up with, he's much better this year. I mean, even just counting stats wise, like, he's a lot better. 16-6 on the season. Like, that's just way better than last season. Because he was pretty trash last year. Like, once he got to the bubble, I think he played pretty solid in the playoffs. Like, he had a couple big playoff games, but all regular season, we're just waiting. Like, when's Mike Conley gonna look like Mike Conley? And it just never came. He just looked really trash last year. But he's getting back to, I think, just being what this team needs him to be. And that's just secondary ball handler to Donovan Mitchell. And just somebody that they can look to, like, just to give us some quality, buckets when we need them. And, obviously be good on the defensive end. But, this might be a team to really, like, watch out for as the playoffs – I'm sorry, as the season goes along. I think they definitely deserve a lot more attention right now. I think they're on, like, a 9-game winning streak also. But they did this last year too. That's why I'm kind of, like, a little hesitant because they went on, like, a 12, 13-game win streak last year. And then they just ended up being, like, the same old Jazz team, like, competitive first-round team, maybe get out the first round. Obviously, they didn't last season, but – definitely a team, I think, to keep an eye on, I would say. Because even, like, Donovan Mitchell didn't get off to a hot start this season. He's starting to pick it up lately. But he didn't get off to, like, a Donovan Mitchell-type start. But lately, he's definitely been hooping, looking a lot more like Dono. And, we'll just definitely have to see how this team plays as the season goes on. There was only 3 games on tonight. The last one was the Hawks and the Clippers, but there's not really too much to take away from it, like, at least from the Clippers side, because Kawhi and Paul George both didn't play. I want to say it's because of something to do with, like, virus tracing, I think. I'm not 100% sure, though, so somebody fact-check that for me, but at least, when they have been playing, they've been looking really good this season. It's just funny how, like, people don't talk about them when they're playing good, but anytime something bad happens, like they blow a lead or something, like Twitter be all over that. But I guess that's just how it works. But yeah, they lost this one though. The Hawks pulled out the win. They won by 9. Which I don't know how encouraging that is. Like how you kind of struggled with it without Kawhi and Paul George, struggled to beat that team. But Trae Young had a really big game. 38 points on the night. Got to the free throw line a lot. He's been looking a lot better lately, I would say. You know, he went through a week or two stretch where he just looked bad, like really bad. Like his confidence was gone or something. But looks like he's starting to get it together just a little bit. Hopefully they just get healthy, man. I still think they're missing some guys out of their lineup. Like I think Rondo's still not playing, which was like one of their, big offseason additions in my opinion, because that just would give Trae Young the ability to play off the ball. No, Rondo is actually back, but he only played 6 minutes tonight, so he's probably still trying to get into game shape a little bit. Gallinari is back too, so that's a good sign for them. Still waiting for Bogdanovich to get back, but I think once they get healthy, like they should be able to start figuring things out. Clint Capella's been really good, especially lately. DeAndre Hunter's been one of the nice surprises of the season. I don't want to say surprise because I think he had a solid rookie season, given like all the circumstances. But he's been looking a lot better this year. He looks a lot more confident too. Cam Reddish is still out also, so they got a lot of injuries, but they do have a lot of depth on this team too. But definitely need to get healthy. And I think with Rondo getting back, hopefully that gives Trae Young the opportunity to play off the ball a little more. I like to compare it to when Steph Curry was starting to get into his Steph Curry groove, pre-Steve Kerr and stuff. I remember they had Jarrett Jack as the backup point guard, but down the stretch, he would be the one and Steph would be able to play off the ball. And, that just really works so well for him because we all know Steph's as good as he is on the ball, he might be even better without the ball. Like he just draws so much attention. Like he really demands, a whole game plan towards him when he's playing off the ball. So I just want to see Trae Young not get to that Steph level because that's a tough level to reach, but just get that in his game a little more. Like get used to playing off the ball because I think that will elevate his game so much more because it's easy to load up against a guy when the ball is always in his hands, but when he's off the ball, moving without the ball and stuff, it's hard to really, game plan for that. And like I said, I just think, that'll take his game to new heights. So hopefully Rondo's able to get healthy. Bogdanovich is able to get healthy because I think this team's going to be really fun when they have all their guys there. So, hopefully those guys, fend off that injury bug and stuff because that's been heavy in Atlanta this season. But, 9-8 right now, I guess it's a cool win tonight. But, yeah, that's all the games that was on tonight. There's a lot on last night that I didn't get to, make a video on. But, a lot of games on tomorrow. So, I'll be sure to make an appearance tomorrow for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Share it too. That's just how the channel gets bigger. That's how I know you guys are enjoying the content and stuff. So, I'll be back tomorrow, definitely. Might be a double upload tomorrow. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Might be a double upload. So, hopefully you guys will enjoy that. But I'll be back, y'all. Peace.